just before the marker reached the half-day signifier on the chronometer. It was early for our protagonist, whom we know only as Bastard, not the Bastard, who suffered from a chronic condition, in truth, one of many, that disabled him from getting out of bed before the time of one major mark after the aforementioned half-day signifier signified its signification. Aside from this early start, the day thus far had flowered like any other day flowers, at least in relation to the flowers that had dayed since Bastard's reincarnation. For, it may as well be noted now, the preceding days represented here are of Bastard's second life. Note, not necessarily significant, except that, in his previous life, Bastard had never paid attention to day flowers, nor their flowering. Seated, he stared at the tidy surface of his desk, which was never cluttered with papers, nor with anything else, for that matter, because he had not much, and even less, papers. As a recently professionalized private detective, he had yet to land any work. Maybe I should hire a new office, he thought, as he engaged in a routine act of mindless eye-casting across the top of his desk. Then he seated up and sipped at a cup that contained, within an ever-depleting amount of absinthe, warmed down equal parts liquid coffee. In the midst of this habitual meditative idleness, the telephone began to ring. No one had ever called him before. He nearly jumped at the sensory perception of the abrasive, unheimlich sound, taken aback, confused, slent nervous by the ring, 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 ring beat. Ring, 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 ring. Like a match of sulfur, the sound sent an intense but brief sparkle, sputter, fire of shock that begat a befuddled speechlessness, becoming a bewildered surprise, then burning a blaze that cohered as a baffled stupefaction, lingering as such, finally frozen in form, fixedly, before dissipating into smoke inside Bastard's living wooden corpse. He threw his eyes around the room, scanning the place for any clues as to where this noise was coming from and what meaning it bore. After the vice proffered 5 or 6 series of rings, a machine-activated automatic answering machine communicated to the caller something about Bastard's present unavailability, which, of course, was not true. In fact, anything but, for not only was he present, but he had absolutely nothing to do. Then the small talking box emitted a single harsh beep, whereupon it captured and reproduced a man's voice, spitting it out for Bastard to hear, plain and clear. Amazing device, he thought to himself. Ignoring the voice, he strolled over to the kitchen, opened the refrigerator, pulled out a sandwich, unwrapped the glass sheet that he had utilized to preserve the prepared consummation's freshness, having made the delectable gustatory item earlier that year, which was comprised of thin but durable whole wheat paper bread, sour vinegar-soaked wheatgrass, 7-year-old foot-stomped mashed gooseberries, pigeon-wing twig bones with marinated cattail and flounder bile, thinly diced as well as pressed dinosaur shallots, with a lysergic acid-plaid corduroy dressing, and then wrapped in papier-mâché. He tossed the glass cover into a garbage bag in his bathroom that was full of garbage that he would never throw away, took 2 bites of his sandwich, and flushed it down the toilet. He pooped in the sink while brushing his teeth in the bath, dried himself off with a few half-threes of shoes, and, resuming his place at his desk, adopted a sense of sophistication in order to press the blinking light button, which said, "Bastard, it's me. Meet me at our usual spot, as soon as you can." He recognized the voice immediately, even though it was one he had not heard in several circles. The Sir chronometer on the wall looked at him and said, 11:40:50, PhD. "Give me 15. I'll be there prior." He noised into the phone at the clock. As Bastard gathered his things in preparation to leave his office, I decided to accompany him. And then I did. It was a sunny day in the city, and very cloudy. He exited the building and crossed the street, his eyes lowering from the sky below to the street above, between which he tasted a billboard advertisement splattered upon one of the new condominiums, one of many that were ejaculating all over the city at that time. Rent your brain, it shouted in big black letters on a yellow background. And in quieter print below, 1,000 balls per week, painless and risk-free. Call now. Below, a telephone number, and even quieter, we promise not to sell any private or personal information to any foreign entities without first drawing your blood. The sign attributed itself to a company called Free Enterprise 999. He didn't break step, just kept walking. This is the interlude. I'm skipping like a chapter so that I can continue with more relevant narratological details. He's going to do a little interlude. On his way back to the office from the bar, Pastor wrote down the phone number on the FE 999 billboard. The number, and he dialed it as soon as he had reassumed his seat in his chair after entering the building, ascending the escalator wing shaft to the 33rd floor, passing down the hallway, click, clack, brown shoes, sole, linoleum floor, unlocking his front office door, walking through the waiting room, unlocking his private office door, entering, and getting behind the desk. Thank you for calling Free Enterprise 999. If you know your party's extension, please dial it now. If you are calling to claim your free chance to win a lifetime prescription to your choice of PD=D disc replacements, press 1 now. If you are calling regarding our new Rent Your Brain offer, please press 2 now. If you are calling to reach our licensed pharmaceutical distribution center, press 3 now. If you are calling to register a compliment, just press 4. For employment opportunities, please press 5. If you are calling regarding any legal issues, just hang the fuck up now. To hear your options again, please hang up and press the redial key on your telephone touchpad, and you may experience deja vu. Bastard hung up the phone and thought about the options that had just been presented him. He rolled a cigarette, smoked it, took a nip from his flask, and, after having considered the situation and calculating the best approach, decided to call again from a payphone out on the street, where he dialed the number again. But the pre-recorded message had changed. If you are calling regarding our Rent Your Brain program, this offer has expired. The rest was the same. He pressed 3 and a woman's voice answered. Free Enterprise 999, licensed pharmaceutical distribution center. My name is Chris. How may I help you today? I'd like to place an order for a gross Dawada. Certainly, sir. Your address, please. He gave her his P.O. box. Thank you. Your voice has been deducted the sum of 49 7 balls. You will also receive 100% complimentary, of course, a 90-second meatball rebate with your purchase, valid at participating interplanetary scuba diving incorporated underwater restaurants, hotels, spas, baths, torture chambers, and pits of doom. Thank you for calling Free Enterprise 999, and have a happy day. Wait a second, Chris? No, it's Chris, yes? Do you like your job, Bastard? I'm afraid I'm not qualified to answer that question. Happy day. No. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm looking for work, that's all. I'm afraid we're not hiring, sir, but if you'd like, you may leave a message with our employment center. Thanks, but no thanks. I want to talk to you. Bastard decided to take a chance. Can I see you? Silence. Longer. More silence. Then, meet me at the Brain Liver Cafe at 15. That's when and where I take my afternoon supplements. He was surprised that she had agreed, and he hung up the phone without saying goodbye. Back in his office, he slowly sipped several scotches to pass the time until the agreed upon hour that she said she'd need him, minus the 9-point stitches, to allow him the proper temporal length to scatter to the restaurant.